In a few years, those men that are not in the top 5% are really, really going to struggle. They're going to really struggle with everyday life, financially, with women. They're going to struggle a lot. And I want to come at this topic from two different angles: financially and when it comes to women. And I was never one to kind of talk about the high value men. I don't really like the whole idea of the high value men. But as I'm living this life, as I'm getting more in depth into society and how society works, I'm starting to think or starting to see more that, yeah, those that are not considered high value are really going to struggle very soon. Are going to struggle to speak to women, are going to struggle to have a woman, are going to struggle to essentially stand their weight against other 5%ers, are going to struggle to, keep a woman if they have one already, and are going to struggle to buy things, are going to struggle to maintain themselves financially, to take care of themselves, to take care of the family. And it's getting worse and worse as time goes on. I think it's getting to the point where only the strong will survive. Genuinely, I really believe this. And I think if you're not making strides today, if you're not making progress today to essentially join that top 5% of men, you are going to be struggling for a very long time, because the world is going to a very, very competitive, gritty, only the strongest survive kind of society, for men anyway. You see, women, they can get away with it. They're okay. As long as there are horny men, as long as there are men out there who can't keep their pants on the dick, women are always going to be okay. Women are always going to have a way out. There's always going to be someone for a girl to get money off. Always going to be a man out there who's willing to take care of a girl. No matter how good looking she is, they always have options. Most girls have options. Not all of them, but most girls have options. Us men, we don't have that option. We have to build ourselves up. Literally from the ground up. You have to essentially create your own person. You have to become something. Women don't have to become something. They just are. But if you're not willing to do the work today, if you're not willing to put the hard work to become that thing, to join the top 5% of men, to join the ones at the top, soon, very soon enough, is going to be a struggle. And let me talk about this from a financial perspective. As you know, you might know this, you might not. It depends how in tune you are with the everyday realities of the market. But there is no more, or there is soon not going to be any middle class. What does that mean? It means the gap between the richest and the poorest is getting wider and wider. It's getting bigger and bigger. Those at the very top are winning, and those at the very bottom are struggling. Especially with inflation going up, people are really struggling to afford food and electricity. People are really struggling to afford everything, and which means that the middle class, so those that were in the middle, that were comfortable, I suppose, those that were a bit above the poor and under the rich in the middle, is getting eradicated. They're slowly becoming the poor. What does that mean? That means that the people that essentially were in the 20%, not even the 20%, a bit lower, the 50%, the majority of people that were a bit comfortable, a bit above average, or average even, they're soon not going to be able to live in that pool of people. They're soon going to be coming to the lower class, the poor people, right? And that's just a reality of life. That's not my opinion. That's not anyone's opinion. That's just how life is right now. What does that mean for you as a man? It means unless you're at the top in the rich section, in the rich pool, playing at the highest level of whatever field you're in, playing at the very top with the winners, you are going to struggle to live every day, to afford the everyday basics. If you have a family, you've got kids, wife that rely on you to provide financially, if you're not at the top of your field, if you're not earning more than the average person, life is going to get very tough for you, bro. Because there's no longer a middle class. There's no longer that section of people that are comfortable with every day. And this isn't my opinion. This isn't what I think. This is the fact. This is what really is happening right now. Inflation is going too high. So those that are not really at the top are really struggling to afford the basics necessity of everyday life. That's why the government has to give out so much money. In most countries, apart from the less developed countries, I don't really like saying third world, the less developed countries, the government is giving out a lot of money to the people because everyone is struggling to afford everyday basics. It's only really the people that are making 6 figures a year, 7 figures a year that are really comfortable these days. And yeah, people making 6 figures a year nowadays are not even rich anymore, bro. They're comfortable. So unless you're willing to join that pool of people, that 20%, that 10%, even the 5%, bro, and as time goes on, it's going to get smaller and smaller, you are going to struggle. You are really going to struggle, bro. You're going to struggle to live the everyday. You're going to struggle to provide for your family. You're going to struggle to live comfortable, to afford the nice things that you like to afford. And it's getting worse and worse. People always ask me, why do I work so hard? Why do I sacrifice my weekends? Why do I do so much to make money? Well, this is why. I'm sacrificing now, my 20s, so that I can join that pool of people when I'm 30 years old. So that I don't have to struggle financially. So that I can have a family. I don't want a family, but so that I can have the option of having a family and know that I can fully provide for them financially. So that I can potentially have kids and know that I can provide for my kids financially. Do you know what I'm saying? So that I can essentially live the life that I want to live without having to struggle, without having to count my pennies, because that's how it's going to be for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to have to count their pennies, bro. That's why I'm putting in so much time now at 25 years old, knowing that I'm not at the level that I need to become, essentially to enjoy life to the fullest. I'm sacrificing a lot of time, a lot of party time, a lot of energy into my business and into making more money, into increasing my income, increasing my value to the marketplace. What are you doing to increase your income and increase your value to the marketplace? How are you taking the step now to essentially join that group of people that are not struggling financially? If you keep going the way you're going now, are you going to be able to afford the everyday necessities? When inflation goes from the way it is now, 8.5%, to 11%, 12%, 13%, are you going to be able to afford the basics doing what you're currently doing now? If you keep going the way you are you going to be able to provide for your girl, for your family? What are you currently sacrificing to join that pool of people that have got more money than they need? This is why I work so hard. This is why I'm sacrificing so much. This is why I'm putting in extra hours after work recording these videos, because I understand this concept, and the earlier you can get this in your brain, the better for you, bro. So unless you're willing to put the work in today, unless you're willing to work hard today, unless you're willing to do something about your current situation to increase your income and potentially join the top 20, 10, 5% for the foreseeable future, you are going to struggle. But what does that also mean in terms of women? I know this is something that people like to talk about on the internet, so I'm going to join in. I don't really like to talk about women on this channel because I don't really care too much for it, but let's talk about it. I see a lot of people on the internet talking about how deluded women are, how they're looking for a man that is earning a certain amount of money, that's tall, dark, whatever, handsome, whatever deluded criteria that women are coming up with these days. I'm not really keeping up with it, but I'm seeing it on the internet. And men are complaining about it. Men are really complaining that they're not happy with the fact that women are asking a lot of them. What women are looking for is they're looking for the top 5% of men. Financially, physically, mentally. Do you know what I mean? They're looking to date the people at the very top. Because like I said to you at the start, women, they get given this life that they don't have to work hard for. So of course they're going to be looking for the best of the best. Just the same way we're looking to date the most beautiful women, they're going to be looking for the best of the best. They'll be looking for the men that are at the very top of the game. Unrealistic expectations, true, but they still want the best. Just like you want the best women in your bed. It's just how it is, right? And because of that, they're looking for men that are making 6 figures a year. This is getting worse and worse. These women are getting more and more deluded. TikTok, Instagram, social media is creating more and more deluded women. If a friend is friend with a girl that's really living her best life, really getting flown out to multiple countries a year, getting clothes paid for, getting her food paid for, literally hasn't got to do anything in this life, her friend is going to want the same thing. So her aim will be to ask for that, to expect that, because that's what she's seeing in her everyday life. She's seeing, okay, girls out there are really living that life of luxury without having to work for it. So in order for me to get the same life, I can't have a man that's broke. I can't have a man that doesn't earn a lot of money. And they're realizing that in order for the men to be able to afford that life that they want to live, these men need to have a lot of money. They can't just have 6 figures anymore. They can't just have 50k a year, 100k a year. They need to have 200k a year, 300k a year, 400k a year. And it's sad, but it's true, bro. So dating, very, very soon, dating for those people that are not in the top 5% of men is going to be tough. Bro, it's going to be really tough. As these younger girls are emerging, especially if you want to date beautiful women, bro. If you want to date the prettiest of the prettiest, you want to date the most attractive girls on this earth. If you don't want to settle for what you don't find attractive just because you don't have the resources to attract the best of the best, you are going to struggle if you're not in the top 5%. Because these girls these days, especially in the Western world, they're only looking to date the top 5%. And don't get it twisted, I don't agree with it. I don't make the rules. It's just the rules are just the rules. You just have to play by the rules. Right? You can either sit down in your room, complain about female nature, complain about how selfish these girls are, how unreasonable they are to ask for a man that earns 400k per year. Do you know what I'm saying? You could either complain about it or actually do something about it and join these guys. The only people that are complaining about this is the guys that don't earn that much money. Do you think the people at the very top are complaining about female nature? The people that have worked really hard over the years, the rappers, the footballers, the basketball players, the people that are earning 6, 7 figures a year, the people that are at the very top, do you think they're complaining about female nature? They're not complaining about female nature. The only people that are complaining about female nature are the people that can't get the girls. And again, I just want to be very clear. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right for women to ask for a guy that earns, that earns 400k a year when they don't bring anything to the table. So what does that mean for you as a man? What does that mean for you as a guy? What does that mean? How can you then join the top 5%? It means starting from today, bro. Start working on yourself. Start putting the work in today. Not tomorrow. Not in 1 year. Today. If you've had that business that you've been stalling for years and years, bro, start working on it today. Because very soon it's only going to be the specialized people that have very specialized professions and the businessmen and the sports stars and the musicians that are really going to be winning. The top 5% are going to be dating the 80% of women. And this is something you can't really fake, bro. You have to either be within that pool of men or you're not. You can't fake that life. Otherwise you get caught out. You will get caught out if you try to fake it. So it means to work hard today. Start working on your business today. Start increasing your income today. It doesn't mean you get depressed. That black pill community, that's a horrible community to be a part of. It's just so pessimistic. It doesn't mean get sad about how you look. It means start working on your body today. Become a better looking man. It's not very hard. It means going to the gym on a daily basis. Working on a skincare routine. You know what I'm saying? It means taking care of yourself, of your body, of your looks. Don't just let yourself go. It means putting an extra working or, asking for that raise. It means going for it. It means genuinely trying really hard to join the top 5%. and getting as close to it as possible. Because even those ones that are not in the top 5% but are close to it, they're still going to be eating good, bro. Eating better than the ones that are not in the top 5%. That's for sure. It also means that once you realize this about yourself, once you realize that you're really far off the top 5%, that you're not anywhere close to being in the top 5%, it means make the decisions to start working on it today, because it will take you a few years, not months, a few years for you to get to that level. All right? It's going to take you a few years for you to get to that level. So you want to make sure that you start working on it as a 5-year plan. If you're currently 25 years old, start to work on it today and aim to join that pool of people by the age of 30. It means working on your body today. It doesn't mean do it in 5 years. It means today. Because very soon when you want to start sleeping with these beautiful girls, you're not going to be able to access them, because only a certain amount of men have these girls, bro. And they don't care who you are. They don't care about your feelings. You care about you. You need to start working on yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Put the work in. Don't forget what people say. Forget what these girls say now. Just forget about their demands. Just aim to at least match their demands so that you can reject them. You don't have to be with them. You can reject them, but at least have the option rather than be optionless like most men out there today. This is just a message for you. Do what you want with it.